Hello, everyone. I'm Stacey Cauvin, the program coordinator for the AMEN program at UT Austin in the School of Nursing. The AMEN program is an African-American mental health wellness program. And if you'd like to learn more about this, please visit our website at nursing.utexas.edu/AMEN. I'm super excited because today I have Jacki Hecht joining me. She is our managing director who is overseeing and managing the AMEN program. And she has an extensive background in designing and delivering and providing training specific to motivational interventions and to promote self-management for improving chronic conditions. Jacki has recently written an article. It is about loneliness, which we can all relate to now, but she is talking about ways to combat loneliness. And Jacki, let's go ahead and talk about the 7 different main ways that we can combat loneliness. And let's start off with the first one. You talk about asking about loneliness. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so thank you, Stacey. So, ever since we started sheltering in place and we had these physical distance restrictions, it became really clear that many of us were experiencing some profound loneliness and separation. And it wasn't just the older population, it was really something that people of all ages were experiencing. And what we know about loneliness is that if we experience severe loneliness long-term, that it can have some real physical health consequences and mental health consequences. And during this time, there's no way really for us to prevent feeling lonely at times, but it's really these chronic feelings of loneliness that can be problematic. And one of the best ways to really begin to address this is just by asking directly, how are you feeling? And not just in a general way where someone can say, oh, I'm fine, but really like, how are you feeling physically? And then how are you feeling emotionally? What's your mood been like over the last week? For people of faith, how are you feeling spiritually? And by asking these direct questions, it signals to the person that we really care and we are ready to listen, and that it's really safe for them to talk about these feelings. And that's an opportunity for them to open up and talk about something that they might not otherwise.
Absolutely. The next way that we can combat loneliness that you speak about is practice being grateful and focusing on others. How do we do this? How do we make this a habit?
Yeah, so we hear a lot about gratitude and being grateful these days, and it's easy for us to feel like, there's not that much to really be grateful for right now or to be thankful for. And yet again, on the one hand, that may be a valid feeling. On the other hand, if we only focus on the dark and the gloom, it makes it really hard for us to make good, healthy decisions, both in our personal life and in our work life. So it's really important that we think about gratitude as a skill, as a strategy to help give ourselves a break during this time. And so one of the recommendations is to take a few minutes, maybe in the morning or during a break during your day, or perhaps before bedtime, and just jot down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. And really think about things that you have in your life that really mean a lot to you. It may be the people in your life. You might not be able to physically be with them right now, but the relationships that you have and what they mean to you, and just being able to appreciate that. Appreciate the small things that you're doing right now that are small successes, even though the big things may not be working out the way you would like. And being able to focus on others, sharing our gratitude for what others out there are doing to help our community is another way of just recognizing and experiencing gratitude.
Most definitely. Another tip that you offer is to feel our emotions, but also write them down. Help us to learn more about how can we get there, right? Because not a lot of us feel comfortable doing that.
Absolutely. First of all, most of us don't really want to feel negative emotion, and it's really tempting for us to want to avoid and push it away. And there's some long-term consequences when we don't allow ourselves to feel what we're really feeling. It's very tempting with all of the opportunities to watch movies and other, video entertainment to just numb out and to hours of that as a way to try to soothe ourselves. And yet it doesn't really make ourselves feel better. But by learning how to give yourself permission to feel all the things that are happening right now, the serious things that we're experiencing, and to write them down as a way of beginning to let go of some of those feelings, just provides a few moments of release and relief. For our brain and our, our mental health, our brain is working overtime right now, dealing with the anxiety and the fear and the uncertainty. And by being able to express our emotions and write them down, especially if we can share them with someone else, it's a nice way of beginning to let go and to let those feelings not take over so much.
Yes, definitely. Another way to combat loneliness is to move or to dance to music. Help me to feel comfortable, Jacki, dancing to music. Get me to move my body.
Yeah, well, and again, we hear a lot about physical activity, and exercise is an important way of just managing stress right now, and always. And yet, many of the ways that we typically will exercise or be physically active, we don't have access to right now. And so we're a little limited in what we can do. So looking for creative ways of just moving around within your ability, within your own home or within your yard or your neighborhood to the extent that you're being safe. So whether it's walking or just walking up and down the stairs or using, cans of vegetables in your cupboard to do some strength training, putting on music and dancing or just some kind of movement can just kind of help relieve some of that tension and lighten the mood a little bit. So movement is one great way of, again, not only taking care of our bodies physically, but also our mental health. But music in and of itself is also another way of getting some powerful healing. And so connecting with music that we loved as children or music that is more current. For those of us in faith communities, the music that we hear in our church services or our synagogues or other places of worship is really powerful and really important of ways of connecting with our community and really trying to take advantage of all of those different ways in which music speaks to us and gives us a sense of comfort and joy is a great way of helping us cope during this time.
And that's motivating in and of itself. Is music is healing. So there is a motivator for getting up and dancing and feeling the music.
Absolutely.
Lastly, you talk about things that bring us joy. This must be unique to each and every one of us. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so again, it's really tempting right now for us to feel like there's not really a whole lot to be joyful about. And especially if we're watching the news a lot and we're paying attention to all the things that are happening with family members, friends within our community, it's a scary time. And yet, while it's really important to focus on the seriousness of what's happening right now, again, if we only focus on those feelings and those experiences, it's going to be really hard for us to make good, healthy decisions in the rest of our lives. And especially if we want to be caregivers to others, we really need to take care of ourselves and make sure that we don't run into a situation where we run out of energy, where we get compassion fatigue or burnout for helping others. So one way of doing that is to find ways of connecting with joy, the things that give us pleasure, the small things, whether it's taking a bath or reading a book or a magazine, getting back to dancing or dancing to music. We're in Austin, the music capital of the US, and even though we may not have access to the live music venues, there's a lot of great music online that people are doing house concerts. It's a great way of supporting them, but also, giving ourselves some joy during our day and connecting with the local community.
Most definitely. And I know you shared some more tips with us, Jacki, and I want to encourage everybody, please go check out her article that she has written, Ways to Combat Loneliness, especially during this time of isolation and physical distancing. You can check out this article on our website at nursing.utexas.edu/Amen. Thank you so much, Jacki. We really appreciate you sharing the various ways we can combat loneliness. I do want to ask you one more question. Are there any other resources or local organizations here in Austin that can help us cope with maybe some mental challenges that we may be facing at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate your asking about that, Stacey. There are a lot of resources available, and it's really important for people who are really experiencing some serious mental health challenges right now to know that they're not alone and that there's a lot of great resources that you can connect with. One of the most important ones in town is our local mental health authority, which is Integral Care, and their number is 512-472-4357. So they're a great resource. They're offering video and telephone services. So please reach out to them if you are having any serious mental health challenges that you can't cope with on your own. Another really great resource locally is the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Central Texas. They offer daily tips and mental health strategies. They also offer webinars. So again, another great resource. Please go check out their website and see if there may be some things that would be helpful to you.
Again, I'm Stacey Cauvin, and we have Jacki Hecht. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on talking about ways to combat loneliness. We thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Stacey.